We'll call to order the regular meeting of the Batavia City Council for Monday, March 16, 2015. I've been asked to remind all the councilmen and anybody that addresses us tonight, if you can, to speak as close as you can to the microphone, because this is key to our presentation on TV, that this is helping. We think we've solved the sound problem as long as we all speak into the microphones. All right, I would ask if everybody would please rise for a moment for an invocation to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, as we meet in regular session, we are deeply honored to be recognizing the National Citizenship Education Teacher Award from the VFW Department of Illinois. This is a most appropriate event to be occurring, given the fact that as we move ourselves toward June, Batavia is going to begin celebration of being the hometown of Flag Day on June 14th, which was officially declared for the first time on June 14th, 1916 by President Woodrow Wilson. So next year will mark its 100th anniversary. And it all started seemingly under Dr. Bernard Sagrand right here in Batavia. So we're going to be doing some official commemorations of that in the coming year. And certainly having this honor tonight with one of our teachers from the Rotolo Middle School, I think, is kind of an interesting beginning to what will be hopefully a most memorable evening and year for our town in the days to come. Tonight, as always, we want to remember those from our community who are serving on foreign soil in defense of the liberties of the United States of America. And we just ask that a special blessing be showered upon each and every one of them and all those from our country who are serving so ably in the defense of the liberties of the United States of America. As always, we want just to ask for direction and guidance as we undertake the various affairs of business before us, knowing that each and every one of us here tonight has their very best intentions and hopes and dreams for the future of our community, and we just request that we be shown guidance to make the very best decisions we can. We ask for all these blessings. Amen. Amen. Alderman Cerrone, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Brown.
Here.
Clark. Here. Alderman Atack is absent. Stark.
Here.
Chanzit.
Here.
Wolf.
Here.
Fisher.
Here.
O'Brien.
Here.
Callahan.
Here.
Homan.
Here.
Sam.
Here.
Boderman.
Here.
Cerrone.
Here.
McFadden.
Here.
Okay, let the record reflect that we have 13 of the 14 elected aldermen present and accounted for this evening's meeting, so we have the necessary quorum to conduct business. And Alderman Stark, since you seemingly have the loudest microphone in the room, obviously we're going to recognize you for items 4 and 5, but would you begin by item 4, items to be removed, added, or changed on the agenda?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have been informed that we will not have item number 23, executive session. We can remove that from the agenda. And we will also be moving item number 16, ordinance 15-13, to item 8A. So right beneath item 8. And that's all the changes I have.
Any others from the council? Not entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda as presented and amended.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Chanzit, second by Alderman Wolf. Clerk, call the roll.
Chanzit.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Cerrone.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Clark. Stark.
Aye.
Consent agenda, or agenda is approved as amended, 13 yes, no no's, 1 absent. Moving then to item number 5, presentation of tonight's consent agenda. Alderman Stark, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tonight, the consent agenda is presented as follows: that we accept and place on file the 2014 budget transfer carryovers and reconciliation, the February 2015 building report, the Historic Preservation Commission minutes for February 9th, 2015, the Zoning Board of Appeals minutes for December 3rd, 2014, and the following approvals: March 13th, 2015 payroll in the amount of $727,906.37, the accounts payable check register in the amount of $906,606.84, the City Council minutes for February 16th, 2015, Resolution 15-31-R, authorizing execution of a master services agreement with Engineering Enterprises, Inc. for consulting engineering services. Resolution 15-32R, authorizing execution of a master services agreement with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley, Inc. for consulting engineering services. Resolution 15-33-R, requesting a permit from IDOT for the closure of various roadways for 2015 special events. Resolution 15-34-R, approving the 2015 zoning map. I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Stark, second by Alderman Chanzit, for the approval of the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Stark.
Aye.
Jansit.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Clark.
Consent agenda is approved, 13 yes, no nos, 1 absent. Okay, moving then to item number 6, matters from the public for items not on the agenda. Do we have anybody this evening? All right, moving then to item number 7, which is Resolution 15-36-R, final plat for the Batavia Plaza re-subdivision for 122 West Wilson Street. Alderman Brown?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to present both Resolution 15-36-R and Ordinance 15-12 at the same time, and then we'll vote on them independently, but they both work hand in hand with each other. The final plat requires, because we're going to do a final plat of the re-subdivision, that then creates the need for the variance for the signs. So they're both kind of hand in hand working together. Batavia Enterprise Incorporated, BEI, is proposing to subdivide Batavia Plaza located between Wilson Street, First Street, and Water Streets and Shumway Avenue in preparation for the construction of the new Walgreens drive-through pharmacy at 122 West Wilson Street. Additionally, freestanding signs not originally approved for the Batavia Plaza or for the Walgreens are now being proposed. With the subdivision of the property, certain city requirements for right-of-way dedication have reduced the amount of property available to locate freestanding signs to comply with the requirements of the city zoning code. BEI is asking for variances to accommodate these 2 freestanding signs. The proposed subdivision would divide the property into lots to accommodate buildings, proximate parking, and main north-south access through the Batavia Plaza. The subdivision eliminates a number of existing easements and a building-restricted area to facilitate construction of the proposed improvements. New utility easements would be provided to accommodate the proposed improvements. Right-of-way dedications are proposed for a sidewalk and for the Wilson Street improvements. The variances are requested due to the city's requirements for dedicating of Wilson Street right-of-way. The dedication reduces available space to provide zoning code required setbacks and expanse of landscape area around the sign bases. BEI is requesting an additional variance for the sign height to allow the existing Batavia Plaza sign to be relocated. Relocating the sign would terminate the non-conformance status of the existing sign's height as it is today. At a joint meeting on November 4th, 2015, the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing and recommended approval of the requested variances for the signs, and the Plan Commission reviewed and recommended approval of the subdivision. The Plan Commission agreed that the proposed subdivision would appropriately accommodate the proposed private and public improvements for the construction of the new Walgreens. Alternates. The City Council can approve or deny the proposed resolution and ordinance. Each of these contains a number of conditions and specifications as applied by the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Plan Commission, and the Committee of a Whole can modify, which we did not modify anything at that meeting. So I would recommend approval of Resolution 15-36-R as presented for the preliminary and final plat of the Batavia Plaza re-subdivision.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Brown, second by Alderman Wolf, for the approval of resolution, we'll do these in order of the agenda here, 15-36-R first.
Correct.
Okay.
And
Any
just one
discussion?
note on the side here also, these are the last 2 items that I believe the City Council will have to take action on in order to get this development done.
Scott, we talked about this today. There's
Yeah, there's actually one more item that relates to the vacation of a parking easement. We just received the ordinance from the city attorney, too late for this agenda of the committee of whole, so that'll come back to a committee of the whole and then a subsequent city council, but then that is the final thing that we'll need to do.
Pretty minor thing, but anyway, so that's the latest on that. All right, any discussion on the resolution? Not the clerk, call the roll.
Brown.
Aye.
Clark. Stark.
Aye.
Transit.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Resolution 15-36-R is approved, 13 yes, no nos, 1 absent. Okay, then moving to item number 8, which is ordinance 15-12, which is also included under Chairman Brown's presentation. That's the variance for the proposed Walgreens store at 122 West Wilson Street.
That's about it, Your Honor. This is for the variance for this freestanding signs. It alters a little bit the amount of landscape area that's going to be afforded to be able to be used with the setbacks that are required. So I move for ordinance 15-12.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Brown, second by Alderman Holman, for the approval of ordinance 15-12, the variance for the proposed Walgreens store. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Brown.
Aye.
Clark. Stark.
Aye.
Transit.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Okay, ordinance 15-12 is approved, 13 yes, no nos, none absent. And then we will move to, per the action of the agenda, item number 16, which is, we're going to show as 8A, which is ordinance 15-13, variance for a rear setback at 702 Millview Drive. Alderman Brown, do you have this?
Thank you, Your Honor. This was also discussed at the last committee of a whole meeting. This is a variance requested to put a porch on the rear of a home located at 702 Millview Drive. The Blackneys, my apologies, the Blackneys are the owners of the home. They were at the zoning board public hearing. There was one neighbor there that did speak in favor of it. At the committee of a whole meeting, there were quite a few neighbors that attended that didn't need to get up and speak, but they were there to speak in favor of it. No one in the area has expressed any interest in opposing this whatsoever. The zoning board did vote against this as it did not conform to the findings and facts that they are required by law to go by. Although in saying that, they did request that the city council consider these the factors of the fact that it's going to enhance the home, it's going to increase the value of the home, it's going to afford the opportunity for the homeowner to enjoy his home. It is not detrimental to the neighborhood whatsoever. It is only 3 feet of a variance requested, and it just really isn't going to be a detriment whatsoever. So the zoning board did ask that the city council consider this and wish that we as the city council do pass this tonight. Because of their findings of fact, it does require a 10 yes vote in order to pass this. As I said at the committee of a whole, there wasn't anybody in the neighborhood that were objective to this. Alderman Atack did vote against it, but she was the only one that did vote against it. So I move for approval of 15-13, granting of the variance for the rear yard setback for 702 Millview Drive.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Brown, second by Alderman McFadden for the approval of ordinance 15-13. Any discussion? Alderman Stark?
Your Honor, as the council and the residents know, I am normally one to vote against variances when it comes to residential zoning because we've worked so hard to put these code in place. However, upon reviewing this change to this house, the 3 feet in question comes out of the backyard close to the house. It's a great addition to the home, and I'm sure the homeowners will enjoy it for many years to come. So I will fully support this change to this variance.
Anybody else? Okay, we would then ask for a roll call, please, on ordinance 15-13. There's setback for rear yard setback for 702 Millview Drive.
Brown.
Aye.
Clark. Stark.
Aye.
Transit.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Cerrone.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
All right, ordinance 15-13 is approved, 13 yes, no nos, 1 absent. So we're done with that one. Okay, moving then to item number 9, and I think this is a highlight of our meeting here. We have a presentation tonight from the Batavia VFW Post 1197, and they're here to present the National Citizen Education Teacher Award from the VFW Department of Illinois to Julia Schaefer. And Mr. Richards, are you the introduction here, or?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to introduce our state representative, Tom Davidson, from the great state of Illinois.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'd like to, before I start, introduce, well, you just met Dale Richard. He's the 19th District Commander. We also have with us Andy Frankie. He's a Post 1197 Batavia Post Commander. And Linda Richards, she's the President of 19th District Auxiliary. And at this time, I'd like Linda to come up, and she started this all going. And I'd like her to come up, and she has something that she'd like to read.
It all started back in October 25th, 2014. Dear Post 1197 VFW, I would like to nominate Julia Schaefer for the Smart Mayor VFW National Citizenship Teacher Award for the 2014-2015 year. Julia has taught for 25 years, the last 15 years as a social studies teacher at Rotolo Middle School. She is a member of DAR and the Daughters of Union Veterans of Civil War, where she was struck by the phrase, "Keep green the memory." She decided to take this charge seriously and teach students about the experiences of American soldiers. For many years, she shared a vast array of artifacts that her grandfather saved from his service in World War I. Students put on white cotton gloves as they read letters, a prayer book, Army manual, and view photographs and authentic maps of the trenches. For many years, she has turned her classroom desk sideways to have her students crouch down for 60 minutes in a simulation of the trenches of World War II. In fact, all the wars fought in the 20th century have some kind of research, simulation, and hands-on activities to show the students what our brave soldiers had to endure for our freedoms. She also reserves the Cantini trunks from Cantini for more artifacts and learning stimulation. Julia stays up to midnight every April 30th to be the first teacher to make reservations at Cantini, so the entire 8th grade at Rotolo Middle School, approximately 500 students, can tour the facility and the museum to learn about the experiences of the 1st Division soldiers. She has also worked with her team for the last several years to help earn thousands of dollars for Honor Flight Chicago. Julia has been an active participant for 5 years in the VFW Patriots Pen program. She has brought veterans into the school to talk to her students about their experiences in order to provide knowledge and excitement to the students when they write their essays. And lastly, on a very personal note, I was witness to Julia's thoughtfulness when a fellow teacher's son was deployed to Iraq in 2003. When she returned from seeing her son off, she opened up her classroom door to find it adorned with American flags, cards, students' handmade camouflage stationery so she could write to her son, and a big bouquet of red, white, and blue flowers. That teacher will be forever grateful. That teacher was me. Respectfully, Linda Richard, retired Rotolo Middle School science teacher. Thank you.
The Smart Mather Teacher of the Year Award is awarded by the Veterans of Foreign Wars to a teacher who teaches citizenship education topics regularly and who promotes American history and traditions. This year, the winner, Julia Schaefer from Rotolo Middle School, not only met but exceeded all the criteria to get this award. It is a great pleasure that I present this year's award to Julia Schaefer. We also have a check for you. Thank you very much, Julia, and I myself as a veteran and all the veterans here truly thank you for all that you do. Thank you very much.
Julia, can we ask you if you'd like to make a few comments to the City Council?
I guess one of the best things that ever happened to me was getting a job at Rotolo Middle School. It's a wonderful community. I want to thank my students that are here and my friends and colleagues from the school that come. And I just want to say we just have a wonderful community that is so supportive of education and learning, and I work in such a beautiful facility, and I am thankful every day for the opportunity to work with such wonderful kids that are definitely, have good families and are well-parented and very respectful, and they make me look good. They're really the best. So, thank you.
Let me just say on behalf of the community, number one, we have a lot of brick and mortar that a lot of taxpayers are paying a lot of money for, but at the end of the day, the essence of the Batavia school system is not the brick and mortar, it's the teachers inside the building and what they are doing to instill lessons of history and patriotism to our students, and certainly you are standing at the head of the pack in that, and as the mayor, I just want to publicly thank you and congratulate you and express our appreciation as a community for all that you and your compadres at the school are doing, because certainly you are creating by your actions lessons in themselves for your students to carry with into adulthood as they understand the American ideals and what America is all about and the many sacrifices that have been put forth by thousands of others over the years to defend the liberties and the honor of the United States. And thanks for all you're doing in Batavia today to continue on that great legacy. So we appreciate it very much.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
I want to thank Linda Richard. I was so honored to be nominated, and your letter just was very touching. And we worked together for several years, and it was always an honor to work with you. And thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
We also have one more plaque to present to the school. The assistant principal, Lori Florenza, is she here? Hi. Lori, on behalf of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, we'd like to present this plaque to your school for promoting citizenship and Americanism, and we only ask that you hang it in a good spot where the kids can see it. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank the mayor and the council for affording me the opportunity to come in and present this award. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out. You're welcome anytime. VFW does great things for our city and our state and our nation, so thanks for all you do. All right. Another proud moment. We are going to have the opportunity to swear in a new police officer, and I'd ask Chief Shira if he would come forth and do a brief introduction.
I guess I'll pause momentarily. Thank you, Mayor. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our newest police officer on the Batavia Police Department, Mark Skorup. Mark is 32 years old. He's married to Stephanie, who's in attendance this evening, who's an Elgin police dispatcher. He comes to us with police experience. He's a former police officer in Oswego, Savannah, Illinois, and recently from Joliet Police Department. So therefore, he's a certified law enforcement officer in the state of Illinois, and he graduated from the Suburban Law Enforcement Academy at the College of DuPage in 2008. Speaking of veterans, military veterans, Mark served in the Marine Corps for 4 years, 2001 to 2005, and served a tour of duty in Afghanistan and received an honorable discharge. And he started with us on February 25th. So I'm very proud to say our news police officer, Mark Skorup, I know he's going to have a long and successful career with us. Thank you, Mark.
Have you come over here and stand, because we're going to get you on this TV camera. All right, if you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name,
I, Mark Skorup,
having been appointed
having been appointed
to the position of police officer
to the position of police officer
with the Batavia Police Department
with the Batavia Police Department
in the city of Batavia
and the city of Batavia
in the counties of Kane and DuPage,
in the county of Kane and DuPage,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the position of police officer
of the position of police officer
of the Batavia Police Department
of the Batavia Police Department
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard. All right, moving in to item number 11, which is the Main Street report.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is David Peterson, Peterson Design LLC, business owner, downtown Batavia, and second-term board member on Batavia Main Street. Here's the Main Street Minute. Main Street's been real busy. We've had 76 volunteers donate 95 hours of planning for the events that are coming up this spring and summer. As a part of our retention meetings, Main Street has met with 2 new businesses last month to learn about them and how we can help them grow. And we had 1 new business open up in February, which is Rosario's Jewelry at 60 North Island Avenue. One thing that kicked off today, well, we've actually been working on it, is our 3rd annual Restaurant Madness. Today in the mail, we've sent out 11,572 cards that hit the mail. So this is our 3rd annual Restaurant Madness. It will happen on Monday, March 23rd, and through Friday, March 27th. There's 22 restaurants participating, and they're offering 25% off a minimum of a $20 bill. So hopefully this will bring a lot of activity to downtown that month. I know it has in the past. So I know you have cards there. We look forward to the Artisan Collective, which is in their 2nd year, and the next one's popping up at Beardsguard Barbers on Thursday, March 19th from 5 to 8 o'clock. Shop a selection of local artisans from jewelry and ceramics to vintage custom decor. Other upcoming artisan collective markets include Thursday, April 16th at Pal Joey's, and on Wednesday, May 20th at Gaetano's. Also, what's coming up new is our second annual Downtown Egg Hop on Saturday, April 4th from 10 to 12 p.m. Throughout downtown Batavia, hop around downtown with the family to participate locations and find and gather eggs for raffle prizes. Events also includes free music, games, activities, and prizes at the Peg Bond Center, and you can find out a whole lot of information there at the Batavia Main Street website. We have a new inaugural event, which is Discover Downtown Batavia Ladies Night Out. Your passport to savings. One night event takes place on Thursday, April 30th from 3 to 9 p.m., where you can shop with exclusive discounts in participating retail shops. The event is $5 to participate and includes a passport ticket, complimentary bag, discounts at participating shops, and a chance to win the window, your vignette of choice from a collection of prizes from participating shops. Prizes will be displayed downtown Batavia at the beginning of April. You can purchase your tickets now online, and they will be available at participating shops and the Batavia Main Street and Chamber offices. Just want to back up one on the Restaurant Madness, which was really great. This is a team through the city, Batavia Main Street, and the Chamber of Commerce. You can find out more at Batavia, at downtownbatavia.com. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of Mr. Peterson? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, moving to item number 12, I've got two appointments I'd like to ask the council's confirmation on. First one is the reappointment of William McGrath to the Batavia Fire Pension Board. Normally, or the state law allows us to have one city administrative representative on the police pension board, and Mr. McGrath has ably served in this for a number of years. I believe this is a 2-year appointment, and as all of us know, Mr. McGrath is going to be leaving us in about the middle of this term. So we will be filling this position again on his 3-year appointment. Well, somebody's going to be appointed to this probably in another year or so when he's leaving us. So as a result of that, this will be kind of an interim appointment until the new city administrator is appointed. But Mr. McGrath, it's important that we get, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's important we get this done because we do have several items pending before the fire pension board right now that he's been involved in the discussions, and there's probably going to have to be some decisions or actions taken that need to have a vote. So I'd ask for a motion for confirmation of his appointment.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Stark, second by Alderman Chanzit for the reappointment of William McGrath to the Batavia Fire Pension Board. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Stark.
Aye.
Chanzit.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Clark.
Motion's approved, 13 yes, no no's, 1 absent. Second one is, I have been informed by Kathy Yelsey, who has been serving very honorably and ably on the Batavia Historic Preservation Commission for a number of years, that she is just overwhelmed with her work at the moment and has asked to be stepped down as soon as I could find a replacement for her. And her position on the Historic Preservation Commission was somewhat significant in that we've always had a policy that we have somebody on the commission that either, number one, lives in the downtown area or owns a business in the downtown area. And in her case, she owns the professional building across the street here. And so she was an interesting voice and position to have on there. With her departure, I wanted to find somebody else who met that criteria, and Mark Foster, who all of you know was recent applicant for alderman's job in the 5th Ward, is a resident of 208 Webster Street in the downtown, and certainly is well familiar with the historical issues in downtown. And it's to Mark's credit that we have outside here the nice exhibit we do to the veterans on the wall outside here. He wrote most of the plaques and everything that's on display out there and did a lot of the research on the World War II veterans. So he certainly has a lot of historic Batavia in his blood. So I would like to appoint him to replace Kathy Yelsey for the remainder of her term, which I believe is another 2 years she was to serve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Brown, second by Alderman O'Brien, for the appointment of Mark Foster to replace Kathy Yelsey Searle on the Batavia Historic Preservation Commission. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Brown.
Aye.
Clark. Stark.
Aye.
Chanzit.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Motion's approved, 13 yes, no no's, 1 absent. Congratulations, Mr. Foster. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Okay, moving to item number 13, which is the approval of waiving of formal bidding for the purchase of water meters. Alderman Clark, do you have that?
Yes, I'm going to present Resolution 1517R to explain why we're going to waive the formal bidding. Batavia's water and sewer utilities are in the process of updating water meters throughout the town. We've already started with the process, so we want to maintain the same type of meters and readers throughout the town, so we're going to stick with the same Badger water meter, and the electronic reading device will be with Itron. So as a result of that, and the limited distributors of these items, that is the reason we're going to waive formal bidding for this. So I will make a motion that we waive formal bidding for the purchase of water meters and reading devices.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Clark, second by Alderman McFadden, for the approval of Resolution 15-17-R. Correct? Or no, we're just...
No, that's just for the formal bidding.
Okay, motion to waive the formal bidding process. Any discussion on that? Clerk, call the roll.
Clark.
Aye.
Stark.
Aye.
Chanzit.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Brown.
Motion to waive the formal bidding process is approved, 13 yes, no nos, 1 absent. Now you want to,
Yeah, so now staff has solicited quotes for the purchase of these Badger meters and the Itron reading devices. There was 3 quotes, and staff is recommending bid number 3 from Midwest Meter Company for the purchase of meters at a unit price of $139.88 each. They will determine the number of items that we're actually going to be purchasing. So with that, we are going to, I will make a motion to recommend approval of Resolution 1517R, authorizing the purchase of Badger water meters and Itron reading devices from Midwest Meter, Edinburgh, Illinois, for an amount not to exceed $200,000.
Second.
move by Alderman Clark, second by Alderman O'Brien, for the approval of Resolution 15-17-R, authorizing execution of the water meters. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Clark.
Aye.
Stark.
Aye.
Chanzit.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Resolution 15-17-R is approved, 13 yes, no nos, 1 absent. Moving to item number 15, which is Resolution 15-08-R, authorizing execution for maintenance of streets and highways by municipalities under the Illinois Highway Code. Alderman Wolf, do you have this one?
I believe I do, Your Honor. Maybe. This is 1508R. Wait 1 second, it's loading. The street program is set to be released for bid at the mid or the end of March. Roadways included in the street program are shown in the memo. Each of these locations are categorized as minor resurfacing, which means improvements will include spot curb repairs, milling of existing surface, and new pavement surface, and any restoration required around the repaired sites. As part of this project, the city is making necessary repairs to underground utilities. The street program items are estimated out at $700,000 in street program. Pavement preservation is $65,000. Crack sealing is $65,000. The state testing that's required on this is $14,691, and the soil testing that goes along with that is $11,828.90, for a total of $856,519.90. Anybody have any questions?
The state testing is not the state, it's a company that's doing the testing of the...
Doing the testing,
Just to clear that up.
whether or not the materials that are used meet the specifications.
Right.
With that, I'll make the motion that we approve Resolution 1508, resolution for maintenance of streets and highways by municipality under the Illinois Highway Code.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Wolf, second by Alderman O'Brien, for the approval of Resolution 15-08-R. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Clark. Stark.
Aye.
Chanzit.
Aye.
Resolution 15-08-R is approved, 13 yes, no nos, 1 absent. Okay, we've already handled item 16, so we'll move to 17, which is Resolution 15-28-R, authorize execution of an agreement by and between the City of Batavia and the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police. Alderman Stark, do you have this?
I do. Excuse me. We have been going through collective bargaining and doing agreements, the annual agreement or the agreement between the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 224, police officers in the city of Batavia, and resolution and agreement has been arrived at. Some few changes that were made to the former agreement, and most significant were a 3-year agreement for stability and forecasting, so we won't be doing this again for 3 years. Wage and salary increases equal to those received by general fund employees being 2.5%, 2.5%, and 3% over those 3 years. Changes in disciplinary grievances, a grievance step involving the Government Services Committee has been removed, so it's a shorter process, a change in health insurance, and the creation of a master patrol officer with stipend. So that said, flipping back and forth between screens, I recommend that we pass Resolution 15-28-R, authorizing execution of an agreement by and between the City of Batavia and the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police, FOP, Lodge 224 police officers.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Stark, second by Alderman Chanzit for the approval of Resolution 15-28-R, authorizing execution of agreement between the City of Batavia and the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 224. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Stark.
Aye.
Chanzit.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Clark.
Resolution 15-28-R is approved, 13 yes, no nos, 1 absent. Moving to item number 18, which is Resolution 15-29-R, authorizing execution of agreement by and between the City of Batavia and the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 224, reference sergeants. Alderman Stark, please.
Again, this is very similar to the last one. This, of course, affects the sergeants in the police department. Very similar to the patrol agreement. The major differences from the last agreement we had with the sergeants is a 3-year agreement, and wages and salary is the same as general fund employees, 2.5%, and 3% increases. Changes in disciplinary grievances, the lowering of the number of days of suspension that can be grieved from 25 to in excess of 5 days, the same as the patrol officers. A change in the grievance process, a change in health insurance, and a creation of a master sergeant with stipend. And so with those changes, I recommend that we approve Resolution 15-29R. I make a motion that we approve Resolution 15-29-R.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Stark, second by Alderman Chanzit for the approval of Resolution 15-29-R, agreement between the City of Batavia and the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 224, for sergeants. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Stark.
Aye.
Chanzit.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Clark.
Resolution 15-29-R is approved, 13 yes, no nos, 1 absent. Moving to item number 19, which is Resolution 15-30-R, authorizing execution agreement by and between the City of Batavia and the Street Department local. Alderman Stark?
Thank you, Your Honor. This Resolution 15-30-R is approving the collective bargaining agreement for streets workers, and there are similar changes to the patrol and sergeant officers. And again, it's a 3-year agreement. This has wage and salary increases that are the same, 2.5%, 2.5%, and 3%. The same changes in health insurance as other employees. The allowed use of personal leave and sick leave in 2-hour increments, and an opportunity for people to become certified arborists if and when they are needed, and the establishment of a labor management committee. And so with that, I make a motion that we approve Resolution 15-30-R approving IBEW Streets Collective Bargaining Agreement 2015-17.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Stark, second by Alderman Chanzit for the approval of Resolution 15-30-R, agreement between the City of Batavia and the Street Department local. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Stark.
Aye.
Chanzit.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Clark.
Okay, Resolution 15-30-R is approved. 13 yes, no nos, 1 absent. Moving then to item 20, which are committee reports. Community Development, Alderman Brown.
Thank you, Your Honor. There is a couple of meetings to announce tomorrow night. 7:30, Committee of a Whole is going to meet at 7:30. There are no items for Community Development Committee, but I know there are other items for the other utility, or the other committees. Wednesday's Plan Commission has been canceled, and Historic Preservation is scheduled to meet next Monday, the 23rd, at 5:30. That's all I have.
All right. Public Utilities, Alderman Clark.
I don't think I have anything to report, but let me look at the agenda.
You got one.
Oh, I have one item for public utilities. It's authorizing the purchase of a 40-foot aerial bucket truck for the electric department. So that's all I have for tomorrow night's meeting.
Okay. Government Services, Alderman Stark.
Tomorrow night at tomorrow's COW, we have a discussion on website development. We have Resolution 15-41-R, Services for Phase 2 of Asset and Infrastructure Software Implementation, and Resolution 15-42, a Downtown Improvement Grant for 310 East Wilson Street. So we will be talking about all those things tomorrow night.
Okay. And City Services, Alderman Wolf.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tomorrow night, we have one item on the consent agenda of declaring two trucks as surplus property, and then also a one-year renewable contract for the West Side property maintenance, which this year will also include the cemetery. So that's all we have there. I do want to announce, since it's less than a month away, brush collection will start on May 11th on the east side and May 18th on the west side. So I'll also bring that up again at the first meeting in May, but I just want everybody to get ready to pull all the piles out from behind your fence or your house or wherever you've been hiding it all winter and get ready to get rid of it.
And when does leaf collection start again?
Months.
Not that kind, you know, not
Yard waste?
yard waste, thank you.
Yard waste collection, let me see where that is. See how good our website is here.
I had a resident ask me just today when yard waste starts.
I believe it's already started, but, see, I don't see it in here, I just see the brush collection listed on this page. I don't see it yet, I'll find it.
Thank you.
Anybody on the council have any other business you wish to bring up? Alderman Stark.
As the appointed representative from Fireworks, I just want to mention that the citywide garage sale is coming up. If you haven't registered, it's now you can go online and register, or you can drop off your application. You can go to the website, print out the application, fill it out, drop it off here at City Hall. You can mail it in. The citywide garage sale is the same weekend it always is, the first weekend in May. The dates are unknown to me at this time. May
3rd.
Thank you. May 1st and 2nd, thank you, is the garage sale, and as always, followed by the Loyalty Day Parade on Sunday, and we will be walking again in the Loyalty Day Parade. But again, the citywide garage sale every year gets bigger and better. There'll be businesses participating in the downtown. We're hoping to do all kinds of, have a lot going on in town that weekend, and we're hoping for good weather. But I just want to remind people that the registration fee of $35 goes directly to the fireworks to support the fireworks, which of course is not city funded at all. It's all funded by donations from businesses and residents, and this is one of our major fundraisers of the year. So if you're thinking about having a garage sale, that's a perfect weekend. There are people from all over town and all over surrounding towns that come here just to garage sale. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew about it.
I did find the date. It does start at the beginning of April.
Thank you.
Alderman Callahan.
Do you want to also mention the TV?
Oh, thank you. This year, Jean Olmsted graciously donated a television, and from all of the people who register for the garage sale, one person will be selected at random and will win a television from courtesy of Olmsted's, and we'll be having the drawing at Olmsted's, and so you'll have your opportunity to win. That's a major change to the garage sale this year to encourage more people to register. I think it's a 32-inch television, flat screen television, so it's kind of a big deal for us, and we're very excited, and we thank Jean for the donation at Olmsted's.
Voting. We have municipal elections coming up on April 7th, and the city of Batavia will be an early voting site starting next Monday, March 23rd, going through March 27th, and then again the next Monday, March 30th through April 2nd, so the next 2 weeks, Monday through Friday. The hours are 8:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. here at the city. If those hours don't work for you, there are other early voting sites available in the area. Just go to CaneCountyElections.org to get all the information you need on that.
Anybody else? Alderman Kelly?
Just like to mention that last Wednesday was the public forum for the overhead underground debate or public meeting in the Carlisle Colonial Village area, and just wanted to remind people that to fill out their surveys when they do show up at their houses, that they will be listened to. We did have a good number show up the other night, about 80, 90 people, and it was a lot of good questions and a lot of good feedback. So I thank Gary and Mufasa for doing a great job that night.
Anybody else on the council? I've just got a couple of things. I was in Chicago for the 5 days of last week at meetings that I'm involved with through the Mayor's Caucus or Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning. And on Friday, the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus hosted a meeting in which the newly anointed Governor Rauner showed up to meet with the mayors, and when it was noted that he was coming, we had a pretty good turnout. We had about 100 mayors show up for the meeting, and it was, he asked to address us, and basically, as you can imagine, his point was to talk about his budget and the issues that surround his budget. And I guess, you know, the conventional wisdom I guess I heard is that the number that got thrown on the table that he was asking local governments to surrender back into the budget was the local government distributing fund, in which he was proposing to take 50% of everybody's community take on that. And in the case of Batavia, that would be about $1,283,000. Now, the kind of the whisper around the room is that they think that everybody's going to be asked to give something, but they think that it'll come down from 50% to some yet to be determined percent as things are negotiated out in Springfield. That was about the best I can report to you. But as part of this presentation, the governor showed up, and he had a 5 or 6 page handout, depending, I guess, on your printer. And so there was only a few copies available. So the mayors all said that, myself included, we would like to obtain a copy of this document so that if nothing else, we could send it out to all the members of our village boards or city councils, and each one of you then could read it and peruse it. And so Dave Bennett, who's the executive director of the Mayor's Caucus, I think very diligently worked to obtain digital copies of it. And about 4:30 this afternoon, I got sent to me the digital copy of the governor's handout. It explains supposedly his rationale behind it, what he's looking to cut, asking for feedback. It's a very interesting document. So we got it so late in the afternoon, and Jeanette had someplace to go, so I told her the first thing tomorrow morning to email it to everybody on the council. So be on the lookout tomorrow for it, because you will all be getting an exact copy of what the governor released on Friday to the mayors. And I'm sure many of your counterparts throughout the region will all be getting it this next week, because it was released, I guess, publicly today at sometime, and the Mayor's Caucus got it and immediately sent it out to all the mayors. So you'll be getting that, so watch for that. Just on a kind of a lighter thing, and this is almost a little bit, I think, as a history person, I'm intrigued by this. Last week, you never know here what's going to arrive on the doorstep or what you're going to get. Last week, I was in Chicago at a meeting, and Jeanette got a call from the National Archives in Washington, D.C., wanting to speak to me, and I wasn't here to be spoken to. I was in Chicago, so she said, well, here's his cell phone number. You can call him up. Well, I'm sitting in these meetings in Chicago, I'm getting this area code from Washington DC calling me, and I'm like, is this somebody trying to sell me something, or what's going on here? So, needless to say, I didn't answer it the first time around, and they didn't leave a message. So then on the train on the way home, I'm about, I think, at Glen Ellen, and my phone goes off again, and I recognize this Washington DC area code, and I answer it, and they inform me this is the National Archives, and we're calling you because we are doing research. Come to find out, this was the Presidential History Division of the National Archives, and they were doing research on Batavia, Illinois. And the reason they were doing research on Batavia, Illinois is that they are trying to, in their words, put together the missing pieces on the life of the current First Lady of the United States of America. And they have determined that in 1927 to 1928, Michelle Obama's grandmother lived in Batavia, Illinois. And her name was Lavanya. And her father's name was James Preston Johnson. And he was apparently a minister, and he was also a shoe repairman. And allegedly, he opened up a small shoe repair shop in downtown Batavia. And the family moved a number of times in the 1920s and 1930s. They had been in Evanston prior to coming to Batavia. And when they came to Batavia, they stayed here about a year and a half, and then they moved to Maywood. And then from Maywood, they're not sure, they may have gone to Old Park for a while, and then they went into Chicago, and they were first on the west side, and then they're on the far south side down in the Pullman neighborhood. So for whatever reason, the National Archives is really into delving into this. Come to find out, there's been a book written about it called American Tapestry, and in the book it mentions Batavia, Illinois, and that this was one of the stops of Michelle Obama on her mother's side, her family in this track around the suburban Chicago area. And so they were very interested in trying to know if we had, I said, well, I co-authored a history book, but I didn't know anything about this. Well, they've asked for me to do some other research, and it may take me a while to do some of the things they want us to do, but they were very interested to determine what school in Batavia that this Miss Johnson went to. And they had already determined that they thought she had gone to Old Louise White School up on North Washington Avenue. But I've called Lisa Hitchens at the school district and asked her, I said, do you have records of who was in the Batavia Public Schools in 1927, She says, well, if we do, it's buried down in the basement, and I'm going to have to put my old clothes on and go down there and try to dig it out for you. So she's promised me that she's going to try to do that to see if we can find, if in fact this girl was registered over at Louise White School for a year. Just, as I say, you never know what's going to come at the door at you in this place, but that was last week's news for the moment, so I just thought it was lighthearted enough that I'd share it with you all. Not that it means anything, but it's just one more famous personality that we drop into Batavia's history here for a brief encounter. So the beat goes on, so to speak. That's all I got. Alderman Brown, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move we adjourn the city council meeting.
Second.
Move by Alderman Brown, second by Alderman O'Brien. Clerk, take a voice vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes, I'm taping.